Chamisa on faith, Chamisa on feet, Chamisa everywhere. Chamisa on water, Chamisa on the news. Everybody let's see. They try to storm me, so anytime. Feeling division, keep on lying. Enjoying that vision. Oh, I'm trying to be a God. Keep on letting their time. They know for sure now. Never be the only one that nobody can stop me. Nobody can stop me. Nobody can stop me. Because the people like me. Nobody can stop me. Nobody can stop me. Nobody can stop me. Because the people like me. Nobody can stop me. Nobody can stop me. Nobody can stop me. Because the people like me.
Indeed, nobody can step Nero, and Nero is the talk of the moment. Advocate Nelson Diawamba Chamisa, the MDC Alliance president. Welcome viewers and listeners. We are live now on News Review. Let me hand it over to Leader Sophia. Leader.
Thank you, DJ Prof. Hoping you're well today.
I am very well, fantastic, and everything is moving in good direction.
Wonderful. We welcome you, listeners and viewers all over the world to our news review of this week. We want to take our time to thank you for being with us, for joining us on ZimI, Change Radio, and on YouTube, our YouTube outlet. Mamuka say, Maswera say, Marara say, Mativi Manainika. I think there's an echo somewhere.
Yes, maybe I can mute everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, let me welcome you once again, our listeners and viewers. We value you from all over the world. Mamuka say, Maswera say, Livugenjani, Sanibonani. Welcome to our weekly news review for this week, where we take a look at the topics that made the headlines in Change Radio News during the week. And today, as usual, I'm not by myself. I'm joined by our very capable leaders, Leader Estella, Leader Tim Muringai, our communications secretary from the North America province, and DJ Prof. If you can welcome the viewers, our leaders, and then we can get straight into it. We'll start with Leader Tim Muringai.
Oh, thank you, everybody. Thank you, leaders, for inviting me once again to your very, very important program. I appreciate the invite, and thank you once again, and welcome everybody. Salubonani, Mahwachini, Morigawoto, everybody.
Thank you, Leader Chimuringai. Leader Estella.
Yes, thank you, Leader Sophia, and a warm welcome to you all, Change Radio listeners and viewers who are joining us from our different platforms, our YouTube platform, our Facebook platform, and on ZimI as well, and those who are tuning in on Change Radio. Today, as usual, we have an exciting lineup of stories to go over with you, and do not feel shy to throw in your comments and your opinions in our comment section. We are very happy to hear what you, our viewers, think about the different stories that we are reviewing today. Warm welcome to you all. Over to you, DJ Prof.
Okay. Thank you very much. I was speaking on my mute myself, so thank you once again. I think in the industry Vurira, zita nonzi DJ Prof reganiti Salibonani, Dumelang, Ninjani, Magadini, Madekwani. So, tinokuchingamidzai pachirongwa chedu news review sezvataurwa nasista Estela kuti izvoni tine zvakawanda zvatiri kupai zvaitika vhiki rose. Tichange tichikupai panapa. Inini ndakamirira Change Radio, DJ Prof wezhira wezheve maguri kwizha. Sida Estela, Leader Sophia.
Thanks, DJ Prof. Just to give a rundown of what you can expect during the show, today we'll be talking about President Chamisa and other senior leadership within the MDC Alliance reaffirming the party's position on POLAD. We'll be talking about the massive looting of the COVID-19 funds that is continuing. We are going to talk about the September 18 United Nations demonstrations. Don't forget about that. We'll be talking about that today again. We'll be talking about the Apostolic sect on the young girl who unfortunately lost her life while giving birth at one of the shrines. We'll be talking about Roki's new song. Yes, that song. We'll be talking about it again today. We're also going to be talking about Aguirre is up to something else again in stealing our future and our funds in Zimbabwe. We'll be talking about the election violence in Zambia, next door to us, our neighbors. They're experiencing some problems there with the elections, but we'll be talking about that. But before we go into it, Leader Barbara has just joined us. Leader Barbara, can you just greet the viewers and yourselves to us, please?
Thank you, Sophie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, viewers from all over the world. Lingabe lichona njani mthwakazi omuhle manera akanaka muri eZimbabwe mangwanani. Maswera say thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Leader Barbara. And I'm sure one of our main anchors, our anchor on this program, Chief Shoshe, is watching. We just want to say to Chief Shoshe, get well soon. We are with you in thought and in spirit, and we are praying and wishing you to get back to 100% your perfect health, so that you can be with us and join us in this fight. But our thoughts are with you right now. We know you're watching, and we wish you could be here, but hopefully next week we'll be together. Okay, so let's get straight into it. Leader Muringai, can you take us through the POLAD fiasco that's going on?
Thank you very much to all our listeners and everybody out there. We just want to commend our leadership, President Advocate Chamisa, and our Vice Chairperson, Jacob Sikhala, for standing in the gap for our people, because we know that this political actors dialogue, like it says actors. It's not the real deal. You know, if you are an actor, there's an echo, I think. Oh, okay, sorry, my bad.
There was an echo.
Okay, yeah. So we just want to thank President Chamisa and Sikhala, because we know it says political actors dialogue. We are not actors. President Chamisa was voted in by 2.6 million voters. Sikhala won his position as a vice chairperson for the MDC, voted in by the voters. All these other actors don't have no voters where they're coming from. We as a party have said and continue to say that we stand by what the people want to be represented by. Our voters have spoken. So number one, let's get back into the history of this POLAD. POLAD as an arm that is created by somebody who we are saying did not win the election. How can you then come up and say, let me create this facility for a resolution of our dispute? No, we said we need a neutral convener, a referee per se, to solve these issues. And Emerson Mnangagwa cannot solve the issues that he has created. He needs to step aside and bring the real dialogue between the parties that got the voters to vote for them, and not people who didn't even, some of these guys didn't even have 0 voters. So who are they representing in this acting dialogue? So the president reiterated that there is not going to be a direction. They're not headed to going to the POLAD or Vice Chairman Sikhala already said, Guti, this is nonsense at the best that we can say. So Zimbabweans are not dumb. We are one of the highest literacy rated countries in the world. We know exactly what's going on. They voted for the person that they wanted to represent them, who's advocate President Chamisa. So POLAD is a non-issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely. It's a drama, it's acting, it's actors, it's a non-issue. And this is our position as the MDC Alliance. Leader Barbara, if you're there, is there anything you want to add on to what Leader Tim Ringai has given us? Okay. I don't think she can hear me, but anyway, let's carry on.
Oh, I can add on to that, Leader.
Okay, thank you, Leader Estella.
Yes. POLAD is a team of clowns who are being used as bait to try and fish MDC Alliance into accepting bribes. They were recently gifted with a brand new Isuzu trucks, even though no one really knows what purpose they are serving in the development of the country, except just to make MDC Alliance jealous, let's say, or to feel like maybe they have been left out and are not gaining in on the loot, just to try and tempt them to leave the struggle and join the looting. That is the sole purpose of POLAD. And it's very sad because that is so against the will of the people. It just shows that the Mnangagwa government, it does not recognize at all the role of the citizens in the whole political scenario. He seems to think everything is just games and politics. He doesn't realize where the real power lies. He doesn't realize that without the people, he doesn't have anything. No matter how many actors he has in POLAD or how many laws they change, but without the support of the people, they don't have anything. But the time is coming soon when they will come to understand, as Mr. Mwonzora who's saying kuti simbare vanhu muchariona. They don't see, they really don't understand kuti the power lies in the people, but soon they'll come to understand that. Thank you, Leader Sophie.
Yeah, you're so right, Leader Estella, because it's a circus. It's all an act, like what you and Leader Mringai rightly point out. It's an act. And one thing I liked about the people is that they realize it and they recognize it for the act that it is. And in more recent developments, the song by Roki and Kofi Olomide, I think, Leader Estella, you can take us through, the brouhaha that was going on around it. I actually heard someone saying, you know what, zviri nani kunzwa mudumbu pane kunzwa chisong chacho. So
I just want to add one thing on those theatric gurus in that POLAD.
Yes, please.
Honestly, because there's this week they had a live show with Honorable Wiwa Sikhala. Them were represented by Maduku and Paul Mangwana speaking about that POLAD thing. There's one question that both Paul Mangwana and Love Momadou could not answer from Honorable Job Sikhala. The question was, POLAD, as you're saying that they are doing something for the people of Zimbabwe and for the government. What one thing he didn't ask? He said that if there was a half, I would ask half. But I'm asking one thing that POLAD has done that you say they've recommended the government to do and it's working. They could not find anything. So hence I said it's a group of theatric people who are dramatizing, masquerading as POLAD there as people who are speaking for the people of Zimbabwe. Those people are speaking for their own stomach, and as you hear from the Msorobang, he said that he's going to use that car to go to his rural area. But in the question, what is that has to do with the development of Zimbabwe if you go with that car to your rural area? And he said he needs even more. One is not enough.
3 more.
You need 3 more.
And yet we don't have ambulances in hospitals.
Imagine. So that's my contribution.
Yeah.
Can I just add one thing there?
Sure, Leader Mrigai.
Okay, do you know that Isuzu KB, I think I looked up the price, it's like close to 30,000. Do you know how many feminine products you can buy for underage girls with 30,000? And then you add the total is close to 500,000 or something like that. Do you know you can buy a used locomotive that can create 300 jobs with just one locomotive pulling grain, coal, and all this other stuff? So all these investments in cars, we don't even have the roads to drive them on, and we don't even have a facility where these cars are made in Zimbabwe. If these cars were made in Zimbabwe, that's a whole different thing. They are not even made in Zimbabwe. They are being imported. So they are paying outside investors to bring them cars in. So that's all I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leader Tim. This just a reminder for all of us to remember to register to vote. Obviously, like what you're saying, these cars are imported from somewhere. Tomorrow we'll come back and we'll talk that it's got Kudakwashita Gray written all over it, like how we imported those buses for 150,000. And then we realized that no, these buses are actually being sold for less than 50,000. So someone is making a profit somewhere. And tomorrow we'll be talking about this when it's exposed. But let's register and vote. Let's vote these goons out. The number to call, for a free phone to know where you can register to vote and what you need to bring when you're going to register to vote. The number, there's a free phone number being flighted there on the screen. It's 08080219. So that's the number to phone, guys. Remember, it's a free phone number. Go and register to vote. Go and check and see if your name is still on the voters roll in the area that you should be voting in. Let's do that. Right, Leader Estella, back to you on the song that has driven the youth's upset.
Yes, thank you, Leader Sophia. There is the song that features Rockford. What's his name? What's his full name? Roki. He goes by the name Roki in his industrial name, and Kofi Olomide and a Tanzanian artist called Ray Vani. I took the liberty to go and listen to that song. I wanted to hear myself the insulting mention of this clown posing as our president. And indeed, Kofi Olomide does mention Mnangagwa in that name, and he says Mnangagwa #1, something which it has upset a lot of people in Zimbabwe. In our news this week, we featured the story, and we had some comments. We heard some comments from Zimbabweans, and people were really upset. But in all of that, they were declaring that, well, whatever, tricks they are up to, but it doesn't make a difference. Mnangagwa must go. And I was I was glad to hear that, because it's one of the things that has concerned me for a long time, that Zimbabweans in general don't seem to get upset with all that they have been put through by the ZANU-PF government. Most times they don't even want to talk about the things that are going on. They kind of want to just shut conversations down. But I was happy to hear that this particular move has angered a lot of people into voicing their, how they feel about this. And it's actually something that will work in our favor, because as we are approaching the elections, what we need most is for the people to be emotional about the situation in the country, for the people to realize how really clueless and I would call it satanic the people that we have in power are. For the people to realize that the only way that things can change for the better in Zimbabwe is to get these people out of power, to realize that, these people, they don't have any boundaries, because sometimes people think that, zvichapera, a lot of people seem to think that things are going to somehow get better, somehow change for the better. But it's so important for us to realize that these people have been pushing us for a long time, and they push us and test us to see whether we react. If we don't react, then they push us a little bit further, and there's no end. There's lots of minerals in Zimbabwe to loot. They're not in a hurry to leave all of that in somebody else's hands. So they are going to keep pushing, and the only thing that we can do to stop them and to change the situation in Zimbabwe is to make sure that come 2023 we remove these people. So for me, this song, even though it is it is made in with the intentions of boosting Mnangagwa's position in politics, but I think it has actually done the opposite, because Zimbabweans are very angry that people would make a whole song, and actually people believe that is the government which paid for this song to be made. So they don't understand how, when people are suffering, they don't have simple things as simple as personal protective equipment, gloves in hospitals. Then they use a lot of money to sponsor artists to meet and sing about the very person who's right at the helm of the suffering of Zimbabweans. So it's actually working in our favor and against them, which is a good thing for us. So yeah, I hope this will
it's true, leader Estella. And you know what, it boggles everyone, every normal human being's mind. You take someone from DRC, which is Kofi Olomide, you take someone from Tanzania, and then
Kofi Olomide actually was flown in from France.
Then you took someone just to come to insult the people of Zimbabwe like that. Like honestly speaking, once you are exposing yourself, once you're just putting a song, Mnangagwa #1. Actually, it's not even a surprise, because we heard him being spoken in tongues in a church somewhere. This is ridiculous, honestly speaking. I heard someone putting his name with Mbambaira together. Then we realize we are doomed. We are not going anywhere. I really think that people of Zimbabwe now, they are open, and they know what is exactly Mnangagwa meant to do for the people of Zimbabwe. How can you do that? And if you now go and trace and how much money was paid, now I'm seeing that it was paid 3 million. Really, honestly speaking, how much was paid to do that? Peter Pata. That's an insult. Honestly, that's an insult to the people of Zimbabwe. We can't.
Peter Pata.
Honestly speaking, we can't.
That is so true. Yeah, we can't. You guys, we really must vote this illegitimate government, illegitimate regime. It's not a government, it's a regime. We must vote them out of power. And none of this talk of postponing elections, we start talking about it now so that we know what they're planning, and, they must just stop it. We will not be silenced, and we will have elections when they are due to be held. So none of this postponing, none of these funny tricks and games. We know them, we're tired, no more. Leader Esther, are there any other comments that are there that maybe you can take us through that coming through our Facebook platform?
Yes, sure, absolutely. There is a comment by someone called Clemens Mutetwa who says, "Fight ZANU PF, not Roki. Don't you see it's a small issue for you?" I'm not sure where Clemens Mutetwa got that impression from. Everyone who has been commenting on this issue, no one said anything about Roki. We talked about the ZANU PF government paying so much just to fly in an artist from France, from Tanzania, just to come in and add salt to the wounds of Zimbabweans. No one said anything about Roki. Like you say, it's a small issue. He's just an artist who was used, in this charade. So I don't know where you got it wrong, Clemens Mtetwa. Would anybody like to add onto that?
No, we're not fighting Roki. Roki is a fellow Zimbabwean who is also in trouble with that government. They are using him. Yes, he is being used and being, trying to be popular. And I heard that he was even given money to buy people to like the video on YouTube, which is ridiculous as well. But anyway, like we said, we are not fighting Roki. We are fighting the illegal regime that is using our people to do uncalled for stuff. That's where we are. Yes.
Can I add on to something?
Yes.
Okay. ZANU PF, like we have said from the beginning, and I think I said it from last week, ZANU PF has mastered and PhD the art of dividing and conquering people. So they will take Roki, who is struggling to make ends meet, give him a little money so that he can come and fight you and me. Let's put that aside. Let's just say we are facing a monster that has no plan for you and me, that does not care for you and me, that has never cared for you and me. These guys had no plan. Since it's now 57 years, not even 41 years, they have no plan. They will not have any plan. Their only go-to mission is violence. They cannot win an election. Not even a classroom monitor election, they cannot win. Kana yuko DBC chaya win ukanzi kune elections ZANU PF. So we as Zimbabwean people, we need to come together as one person. First of all, we all know about that Gugurahundi and all the atrocities. They said, oh, the Ndebele people this. Then they came, they said, oh, the white people this. We need to take the farms away. Now they are giving the farms back to the white people. So it's like a confusion, a cauldron of using us in circles and then fighting each other. Let's not fight each other as Zimbabwean. ZANU PF has to go. Like the moderator has said, Sister Sophie, register to vote and make sure that your people know you've registered to vote in this area, and make sure that your structures know where you have registered to vote. We know President Chamisa, and we know that MDC has won elections since 2000. But the only thing is we need to educate those that are behind the junta that we are there for the people and we are the people's party for the future. Thank you.
Absolutely right, Leader Tim. Absolutely right. Are there any other comments before we go on to the next topic, Leader Estella? Yeah, that's Florence Madame Flo Nyerens, sorry, I beg your pardon. Madame Ombe actually saying and commenting that no, Clemens Mtetwa, it's not fighting Roki, but questioning ZANU paying $3 million for a song when that much money could have been channeled to welfare issues. You are so right, Flo. You know, we're talking about Matibeleland just now. You mentioned Gukura Undi. But in Matabeleland North right now, there's over 87,000 people that are facing starvation. And non-governmental organizations are the ones who have to come and step in, but they can only provide basic meals to about 57,000 people of that 87,000 people already facing starvation. People are now resorting to eating wild fruits and wild roots right now as we speak, but the government does not care. They're channeling 3 million purportedly to a song to for us to hear them saying that they are number one. People are dying of starvation. And yet there's Obet Kutu there, who's also a big looter in Matabeleland, who is not doing anything to help people right in his, backyard. So you're quite right, Leader Moringa. These people just don't care about us. All they care is about looting. They are clueless. The only time that they are qualified and the only time where they seem to be doing something is when they can get something from it and when they can loot and steal further from the people of Zimbabwe. Leader Stella, is that Leader Barbara who has just joined us?
Yes, it's Leader Barbara.
Okay, Leader Barbara, if you can hear me, can I ask you to talk about the recalls of the councillors by Mwonzora?
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you so much. First and foremost, what our viewers and listeners have to note is we are at war with the ZANU-PF. We are at war with every other opposition party. The Chamisa is being fought left, right, and center. They want to dismember him so that he becomes irrelevant. They fear him. They know that they cannot win in an election that has got Nelson Chamisa as a candidate. So they are trying by all means to do all the shenanigans. But thank God the people are with the people's president, Nelson Chamisa. The recent recalls that happened in Kwekwe, it was after there was a vacant of the deputy mayor after the passing on of our deputy mayor. So that vacancy was filled in by an MDC Alliance councillor. So Douglas Mwonzora got angry. They thought they were going to win. They thought they controlled all other councillors that were not recalled, not knowing that we still have got some councillors and some MPs that were not recalled that are still aligned to MDC Alliance, that are still loyal to President Nelson Chamisa. So we are not moved, and although the three councillors that have been recalled, they've written their statements to say, recall or no recall, we stand by our president. We stood where we were standing yesterday. They have not shifted. They are not moved by the recalls. They did not get into the struggle because they wanted to be councillors. No. So that one alone shows how committed the cadres are, how committed people are, how people want change. People know where change is gonna take place. People know their president. People know the opposition party that's gonna liberate the suffering masses of Zimbabwe. So I'm told there's gonna be a recall of MPs again, and also they do not want to hold by elections, and they are hiding by COVID-19 to say we can't hold by elections because there is COVID. But look at Zambia. Zambia is going to hold their elections. Malawi is going to hold their elections under COVID. So, it's like democracy is dead, And to make matters worse, the media is being helped by other opposition parties to kill the democracy, to silence the voice of dissent, which is very unfortunate. But what makes us happy is that people are resolute, they are steadfast, they know what they are doing, and they know that change is coming. And the only change, the game changer, is none other than the people's president, Advocate Nelson Chamisa. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leader Barbara, for that very informative piece that you just gave us. That is so true. People know who to stand behind, and people are solely behind the people's president, Advocate Nelson Chamisa. And I think moving on, can we talk about the massive looting? I think DJ Prof, can you tell us about the massive looting of the COVID-19 funds, which was exposed by the Auditor General?
Thank you very much, leadership. It's unfortunate that, Zimbabwe has tended to be a news country, a bad news country with regards to the welfare of its own people from its so-called, in quotes, government, which we know for sure that it's illegitimate government. Viewers and listeners, when someone is in a position where he or she knows that the people did not put him or her there, who act as such. That's exactly what the government of Zimbabwe is doing as we are speaking. The health sector of Zimbabwe is actually, the word dilapidated itself, it's not enough. I don't know what other correct English word that will go into exactly explaining the situation that is back in Zimbabwe. The COVID-19 funds that are being funded or are being donated from well-wishers across the world are being looted by the regime in Zimbabwe. The Auditor General brought it forward on a report and submitted to the Ministry of Health, which is led by Comrade Rebar. He could not table that to Parliament. He sit on it. As we are speaking, he's in China. As the Minister of Health, he's getting medical help in China, and he sit on it. Then the Auditor General went on to take that report himself to the Parliament, to table it in Parliament to show how our COVID funds are being looted with this regime. You remember last week I told you that some of the cars we don't have a doubt that those POLAD cars were bought with that COVID money, because I'm sure Mnangagwa he doesn't have that money, and the government of Zimbabwe does not have that money. We all know that we are struggling as a country because of this regime. So they took those COVID funds and bought those cars. So our COVID funds are actually being looted. We know the former Minister of Health was fired from that portfolio because he looted 60 million of COVID funds. But until the present day, as we are speaking to the people of Zimbabwe, he's sleeping in his comfortable massaging bed at home. He is sleeping in a well-ventilated house. Nothing has been done to him. But Makomboro Ngaruzivishe, only for whistling at court, he's in prison as you are speaking. That's actually, that's unbelievable. It's unfortunate that we are still calling those leaders, but the element of being a leader in Mnangagwa's regime, it's totally out of the context. Is not. So our COVID funds, as we are speaking, they always rely on the fact that no, what is the number? Look at the numbers. We are the best in Africa. We are the question. There are two questions that they cannot answer. One question is, what have you done that any other country in the world have never done for you to have that number that you are talking about? And the second question is, do you have enough apparatus, or do you have enough tools, instruments to measure the magnitude of COVID-19 in Zimbabwe? Because you cannot tell me that we have got lesser number when you are testing only 5 people per day as a country. That's unfortunate of the situation. And honestly speaking, we need to stand up and face this government, because our health system is deteriorating. Hence, you see the Minister of Health himself is in China as we're speaking, seeking for health attention, but he neglected his own hospitals in his own country. That's it from my side.
Yeah, you raise a very important question. I know, admin at the back, we're going to talk about this later, but I just want to tie it in with what DJ Prof was talking about. The Kudata Birei, looting and him being awarded the Fidelity printers and refineries, major stake in Zimbabwe. So, this is just a government that doesn't care about its people. It doesn't care about its citizens. All it cares about is how much it can loot. When money comes in, they're already thinking about how much they can share amongst each other. So, we've got Kudakoshe Tagwirei. If you remember, I want you to remember this name, Kuimba Mining and Sotik and Landela. So Kudakoshe Tagwirei has all these companies. And, our Honorable Vice President, Tendai Biti, which was his birthday this last week, by the way, happy birthday, Vice President. Honorable Biti came out and, he gave his honest opinion of what was going on behind the scenes and within the Fidelity printers and refinery saga, where he said, government is stripping assets and giving them to Kudakoshe Tagwirei. We will have nothing. We are a government in waiting. By the time we inherit this thing, there will be nothing left for us. And, we need to wake up and do something about it now so that, the people of Zimbabwe are saved and their assets are saved. Honorable BT was saying it's an act of sabotage and treason because only Parliament can strip entities that was created by Parliament, such as the Fidelity printers. But now what is happening is that government has said, okay, Kudakoshe Tagwirei, because you're you're selling gold to the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, you can have part of 60% of stake in Fidelity printers, 60% of Fidelity printers and refineries. So, through his company, Sotik and Landela, which has mining. If I can just list to you the mines that Kudakoshe Tagwirei. Kudakoshe has stake. He's the owner of Freda Rebecca Mine. He's the owner of Bindura Nickel Mine Corporation. These are the only 2 nickel mines in Zimbabwe. He is the owner of ZMTC Gold. He's the owner of Sandawana. He's the owner of Jena Gold Mines. He's the owner of Golden Copy Mines. He's the owner of Elvington Gold Mines. And all of them combined, they bring in about 300 to 500 kilograms of gold every month that they mine and they sell to the Reserve Bank through Fidelity printers. He is also the owner of Great Dyke Mine, which is near Darwindale. It's the biggest platinum mine, in the world. So this is all Kudakoshe Tagwirei. And his companies under Sotik and Landela Mining, the companies are based, the headquarters are in Mauritius, but the companies are registered in the Cayman Islands. This is one person. You don't know where he came from. We just woke up and we started hearing about Kudakoshe Tagwirei, Queen Bee, and he has all these mines. And government keeps on giving him, he keeps on getting these contracts. The buses, Kudakoshe Tagwirei is there. The trucks, Kudakoshe Tagwirei is there. COVID-19, Kudakoshe Tagwirei is there. Gold, we must just put a stop to this. If it's not enough to get anyone mad, I don't know what will get you mad. Because these are our resources. These are our minerals, all being parceled out and handed out to one person, the Queen Bee, Kudakoshe Tagwirei. So, nothing will be left in Zim, like what Honorable BT says. And, when Tule Ngube was asked about this, he says, no, Kudakoshe Tagwirei is not involved, and due diligence was followed when we decided that this 60% of the Fidelity printers and refineries were going to be handed out to one of Kudakoshe Tagwirei's companies. What due diligence? What due diligence, Zimbabweans? What due diligence that is followed? What process is followed by just handing out our riches, our natural resources to one person in the country? Zimbabwe has 15 million Zimbabweans. Let's wake up. Let's do something. Register to vote. Your vote counts. Let's get this illegitimate regime out. So, I think, Imelda Kundishora is commenting there and saying, so it means he's the owner of the whole of Zimbabwe, can't I? Something needs to be done. Mwah. Yes, that's how we should be feeling. Mwah. We should be angry. If this doesn't get you angry, I don't know what should. But, let's think about this. In fact, the time of thinking has come and gone. It's time for action. We should be getting action to get this illegitimate regime out the door, out the back door. We don't even want them out the front door. Outside, we don't even want to see them. So I don't know, let's just continue with the program, but this is what we need to do as Zimbabweans. I think in the North American province, leader Tim Muringai, you guys are doing something about it. You are preparing for the September 18 UN demonstrations. You want to take us through that?
Oh, thank you. I just wanted to add something to my sister, what you have just been saying, and I can just feel the anger that you have for what is going on in our country. Like leader Barbara, DJ Prof, and sister Estella, we are all Zimbabweans on this platform. This is one thing that I would implore each and every one of us to do daily. I mean, you can look in the mirror and say, what can I do for my country? I think it's a famous John F. Kennedy statement. Vice President BT has fought through the legal ways, the constitutional ways, in our parliaments, in the press. Our president has stood for us, our vice chairperson, our chairperson, Madam Tabitha Kumalo has been arrested. All our leaders have been arrested and they've paid their price. So it comes back to us as Zimbabweans and to say, what can I do in order to make my country what it needs to be? There is nobody that owns the whole country. Like you just alluded to, that Kudakwashi Takwire has got a hand in everything that touches our lives. That is not what we voted for. That is not what if we go back even in the history of the liberation struggle, our parents, our grandparents, our aunties, our uncles, they sacrificed, saying that when the new Zimbabwe comes in, imagine this. This is what MDC is fighting for. We need one man, one vote. We need the independent judiciary. We need independent courts. We need employment. Those were the things that the liberation struggle was fought for, the land issue, all these issues. So how does one man end up with all that? I think we as Zimbabweans, the 15 million of us, we know President Chamisa has stood still because he's been offered, like we heard the Secretary Wendy saying, they've been offered trinkets and all that, and they've been offered cars, millions of dollars, land, all that, but they have not sold out on the struggle. What is your part? This is where we come to our demonstration on the 18th of September in New York. We are saying, wherever you are, Chengisela in Ndebele, Ratidzira in Shona, we need the diaspora vote. That vote is very important. In all the countries of the world where they have voting systems and democracy, we see that the economy does good. The welfare of people is taken care of. The accountability of people's monies, taxes, and all such are well taken care of. So we as Zimbabweans, like you said, our leaders have stood. They could be tempted with money, but they've said no. All of our leaders, we all know. We know that Marco right now is in prison because he whistled. But he's whistling because he's in a free country. He can whistle if he wants to. He can talk about things that are not going right if he wanted to. So to maintain that and to make sure that we stand up for our people, let's all come together. September 18th, wherever you are, we will have a demonstration for our diaspora vote, which is very, very important. We know in South Africa, we have over 3 million Zimbabweans, and then the rest of the world, we have like 1 million plus. We have power. We have power. So thank you. Whoever wants to demonstrate, You don't have to come to New York. You don't have to be in the US. Wherever you are, September 18th should be our D-Day, where we say enough is enough. We've had enough. We are seeing all these things going awry. Our country needs us. Our country needs you, the person in the mirror. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't know, does anyone have anything to add on to that? DJ Prof, you were talking about joining the demo last week, the 18th September, the UN demo. How are plans going in recruiting and organizing for the South African chapter?
So the unfortunate part is I cannot speak for the South African province, but I know for sure that they are in an advanced stage to also to participate in that. Pachona want to shokoriri kufamba, and we are moving to do that because we want that diaspora vote. And I'm also glad to add that I saw also a program that is also was aired live by Zimai. Simbachi Kanza was airing with Chief Ndiweni. They were talking about it, and they even saying that they're even going to go a legal route, if not, and they'll even go to UN because it's our right. And we are more than 7 million people outside Zimbabwe in diaspora. We need that right because we are sending money back home, and their GDP is being increased because of us here. So if we are sending money back home and they are benefiting from us, why not be able to choose the government that we want to run our pounds, our rands, our US dollars, our shilling, our chin-chin that we are sending home? Yeah.
Absolutely. Right, I think, we've spoken about that. We'll continue reminding our listeners and viewers about the demonstration, and also just getting to hear from other provinces how well, advanced the plans are for this big mother of all demonstrations that is being spearheaded by the North American province. Thank you so much, Leader Mringai, for that. We move on. The next story, I think Leader Barbara and Leader Estella have a lot to say about that. The Apostolic sect, the unfortunate incident of our daughter, Memory, who unfortunately lost her life whilst giving birth at a shrine in the Apostolic sect. I think there's a video, there's an audio. And then soon after that audio, I think Leader Barbara and Leader Estella, you can go straight into this and give us your commentary.
Shatakashora pano tikati ukaona chichi chitora politician yo mupa maiki kuti aparidze kuti akampeni pakati peservice aisiya Jesu zvinyau kureva kuti vekwamaranga havasi chechi yaMwari, vapostori vekwamaranga zvinyau zvinyau zvakapfeka magemenzi ewhite. Ukaenda paroundabout yepaWarren Park D pane bhana ramunangagwa riri ipapo rakanzi protecting the girl child. Mukandivhotera mwanasikana achengeteka. Asi vanga vari kwaMarange kuri kubhinywa vana. Havana kutsiura vari kubhinya vana. Kuti mapostori musarore mwana ari under age. Muri kubhinya. Kureva kuti vakavhoterwa nemabhinya. Havana kuda kuita baba wenyika kuti vati no, mwana asina kusvika 18 years hazvina basa nereligion yei, haasati ava mukadzi. She is a minor. Anofanira kuchengetwa nevabereki vake nevanhu vanogara mucommunity make. Akuchengetwa futi nenyika yake mwana wega mukomana kana kuti musikana. It is the right of every adult ari responsible kumuchengetedza. Kudanana nemwana asati asvika 18 years ubhinya. Hazvina mhosva kuti uri kuti wana chiratidzo chabva kupi ubhinya. Mwari chaiye akaita hanya nezera akanyoresa bhuku yaSong of Solomon chapter 8 verse ya 8. Iyo tikudii vhesi iyo? Mwari chaiye akati munhu aroorwe kana asati akura. Yes. Mwari akazvitaura izvo. Yes. 88 dzamuparidzi iverengei. The Song of Solomon. The Song of Solomon. Zvikanzi na Song of Solomon tine chinin'ina chedu. Hachina mazamu. Tichaita sei nacho.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know, Leader Estella or Leader Barbara, you can take us through that story and on the silence, the deafening silence of the regime when it comes to everyday issues that affect people and young children in particular.
Yes, thank you, Leader Sophie. It's one of those very unfortunate cases that should not happen at all. A case where a 14-year-old girl died on the delivery table, giving birth to a child. It's something that's really terrible to imagine for someone who is so young and probably doesn't understand what's happening to her, what's going on around her, and that she should lose her life in such a way. And a story I saw somewhere says that the parents of this girl actually went on to offer her 9-year-old sister to the same man to replace the daughter whom they have lost in childbirth. And it's something which speaks to the situation in Zimbabwe, where we have the elite who are looking out for each other. As we have seen in the video, our president, our vice president, they go to these churches wearing the garments, and they liaise with these these powerful church leaders, and in return they get some political mileage, I'm sure, from the Apostolic Faith Church. And this is typical of ZANU-PF. They are using the divide and conquer method that Leader Moringai mentioned earlier. They have a handful of people that they liaise with, and they have like a cult that looks out for its members at the expense of ordinary citizens. And in this case, I assume it is, for the parents of the girl, it is a source of financial sustainability to have their daughter married to some probably rich old church leader. And it is something that really, as a mother, it's something that I find very, very upsetting and very disturbing. And just one of those many reasons why we need to do away with these, as I said before, satanic. That's the way I see them. For me, I see them as people who are working as agents of evil, because all the laws they enact, all the things that they throw their weight behind, they cause extreme suffering to the people. You will never find them in a place where they are helping the people, where they are trying to alleviate the suffering of the people. So to me, when I look at this regime, all I see is agents of Satanism. And it's a pity that, they liaise with a church to advance their political interests and to protect these church members when they are committing such unethical, immoral acts. But it is my hope that all Zimbabweans hear all these things that are happening and they get angry, because that's where it starts. As long as people are neutral, unaffected, these people can continue to terrorize our people. But it is when people get angry and they say enough is enough that something is going to happen. I don't know if anyone has anything to add.
No, I think, Leader Stella, I think you just articulated it as it is and how it should be and how we should see it. So yeah, our thoughts are with the young girl, and we do hope that she rests in peace. It was a really terrible thing to go through at such a young and tender age. It's hard enough for a grown woman, and I can just imagine at the tender age of 14 having to go through this trauma, and we do hope and pray that her soul rests in peace. Yeah. So yeah, I think maybe the next topic that we should be talking about, DJ Prof, you can take us through the Zambian election violence.
Thank you very much, leadership. But let me just say it's a very sad story to hear that a story that has happened. But maybe my 2 cents of contribution to that is that we know that the Constitution gives everyone a right of expression or right of freedom of association and freedom of worship. But again, in those rights, in that right, it must not also infringe someone's right. It's a terrible story, but yeah, we know where it comes from. We used to see people wearing gowns going there to rubber stamp the things that totally lead to this situation where we are in now. Anyway, let's go back to the Zambian election. Edgar Lungu, the current president of Zambia, Edgar Lungu, has unleashed the army onto the street of Zambia, which is purported to, and it's being said that they want to maintain peace for the alleged violent election to be held. So from my point of view is that, look, it's an African tradition now that we see the regimes of all the countries when they are smelling change, they always want to use military into the street. The Zambian election they are not yet held. They are penciled to be held 4 days from now on the 12th of August, but already Edgar Lungu has mastered the master's tactic of actually intimidating people. They use army to intimidate people. This is the same situation that happens in Zimbabwe. They use army to intimidate people. You look at the situations that happens in other countries, in Uganda, in Burundi, in Angola, in Mozambique. So the government, the current governments or the current regime, when they smell change, because the wind of change is blowing around Africa, when they smell that, they unleash army to intimidate or destabilize the movement of people. We know the purpose of the army in each and every country is to protect the sovereignty of the country. Robert Mugabe used to speak much about this, but obviously he used also not to practice what he preaches. The purpose of the army is to protect the sovereignty of the country and the people in the country. The people who are supposed to maintain peace and order is the police the Republic Police or the police service in a country. I'm wondering, and I need even all level-headed people to wonder: has Edgar Lungu already seen that his police cannot maintain peace and order in Zambia? You know, those are very difficult questions that people would ask and get to the reason why the army has been now roving around on the streets of Zambia. The only thing that they want to do is they've learned from the master Mnangagwa, they've learned from the master Mugabe that army can work and intimidate people, and you'll not be surprised that they can even call a state of emergency in Zambia and say the army is the one that is going to be the voters observers. You'll not be surprised. And I heard that this guy who used to be a Sierra Leone president, who was dislodged by the opposition party. Now the opposition party led by George, not George Way. The name is not coming, but he's the opposition party who won there. And they took the regime that lost the election to come and do the United Nations Observer mission in Zambia. You know, that's why we always say, even the people of Zimbabwe always say that United Nations and these bloc regions organizations, they are more like toothless bulldogs, because they do that. And look at the situation now. Already the elections and of Zambia has already been determined because of the person that has been brought there. And he comes there under United Nations. He does not even say anything against the releasing of the army from the barrack into the streets. So yeah. Anyway, that's the update on the Zambian elections and the unleash of the army, alleging that there will be violent election. I don't know where Edgar Lungu is in that.
You know, you're quite right. But what we must also remember, Edgar Lungu and ED, they go back a while. You know, so he probably got the advice to unleash the army from ED, number one of looting, number one of violence, number one of suppressing the people's will. So, you know, there could be a link there. Exchange notes. So this could be very well coming from ED, because ED has unleashed the army on his people on numerous occasions. So, you know, Arambirwi. Right. I think finally we can talk about our COVID-19 updates and what has been going on regarding COVID-19 in our nation. The numbers are still increasing. Yesterday, there was the last record was 956 new cases and 51 deaths. But of course, we know that these numbers are severely understated and, you know, underreported. So we can safely say the numbers maybe it can be anything times 5 or times 6 what is recorded. You know, and also quite rightly what you pointed out before earlier, that the number of tests that we're performing as Zimbabweans, when we're actually not doing as well as we say we are. We've only managed to perform under 1 million tests since the COVID-19 pandemic started. That is over a year ago. So that is about 0.75% on our population, you know, of the test rate. So we are very low on tests. So our figures cannot be accurate at all. I think we've performed 75,000 tests for every 1 million people in Zimbabwe. So only 75,000 per million people have been tested in Zimbabwe. So we can know for sure that our numbers are severely underreported. And the problem coming in this week that we're highlighting is in the prisons, where we look at Chikurubi Maximum Prison, where there are about 3,000 inmates in the maximum prison facility, a prison that was designed to hold less than a third of that population. So there comes a problem with disinfecting the areas and you know, sanitizing for the prisoners, because there's been no running water in Chikurubi. They've had to survive on makeshift wells that they're digging up for water. And we know that one of the things that we need to do to stamp out the COVID-19 virus is practicing good social hygiene, hygiene practices. And we can't do that if there's no water. And one of the news coming out is that the demise of Robert Martin Gumbura, from allegedly COVID-19, because he had comorbidities, he had high blood pressure and diabetes. So then also catching COVID-19 and, not working favorably and, him unfortunately losing his life. If you remember Robert Martin Gumbura, he was the end time, the pastor, the senior pastor at End Time Ministries. And he was serving, I think it was a 40-year prison term in Chikurubi Maximum Prison. So, yes, we understand there are stories that he did well and he was serving his debt to society in Chikurubi Maximum Prison. So to his family, we do say condolences and, may he rest in peace. I don't know, does anyone else have anything to add about COVID-19 before we wrap up?
Yes, I just want to add on the death of Robert Martin Gumbura of COVID in the prison is that this confirms what Hopo Chingono has been saying to people. He came out of prison and he said it on public to say, look, and people bashed him for that. He told them that there is no COVID protocols in prison. So imagine the prison that is supposed to accommodate only 700 people said now there is accommodating 3,000 people in one prison. And I don't know what is going to happen now because there's an alleged that Martin Gumbura dies of COVID. How many people has he met and how many people those people have met? You know how they are given food in prison. No masks. Also, there's no masks. There's no gloves. There's no sanitizer. Nothing. Because I always watch the program by this lady Tilda. She feeds the prison. You can see the person that is sitting with. Okay, it's fine. There's mask, but from the background there are people who are walking around. You won't see anything that is being followed there. So imagine what people are the life of people are put in danger because of it. Goes back to our first point. Remember, we spoke to the viewers and listeners that our COVID-19 funds are being looted to the extent that the government cannot buy even sanitizer, gloves, even to fumigate the prison. They can't do that. So we are on our own as the Zimbabwe from prison. Prisons, yes, they've committed crimes. They are in correction. They are in correctional services, but they are human beings after all. They need to be treated with dignity and respect. So yeah, that's actually I'm saying this that I'm emphasizing on the point that our funds for COVID are being looted by this regime. It's only Martin Gumbura that has been alleged, confirmed it's COVID. How many people are going to die that are going to be confirmed? How many people have died that have been confirmed? So, Thank you.
Leader Estella, you wanted to say something?
Oh, I don't remember. It's okay. We can just move on. I don't remember. Leader Sophia, you're on mute.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Leader Estella. I was actually saying, you know what, I think we wrap up here today. Thank you so much, our viewers and listeners, for being with us during this time. And we value your listenership and your viewership. So from DJ Prof, Leader Muringai, Leader Barbara, Leader Estella, and myself, Sophia Tekwani, We just want to say thank you. Continue, stay tuned to Change Radio. There are a lot more programs to entertain you and inform you coming up. Stay tuned, stay with ZimEye, stay with us on Facebook and on Twitter. Yeah, thank you so much for being with us, and we'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Remember to register to vote. Remember to register to vote.
We know that our viewers and listeners are registered, Sophia, but we want them to encourage friends, relatives, Mbuya Gogo, Mbuya Sekuru, Mningina, Babnini, Mainini, whoever in close relation with, even Shamari, kuti ngadzende kuregister kuvota. Ngatite mandate yekuti zvoni kana chine shamwari yako unoti nditaridze wakaregister kuvota here tizive. Kana wakaregister kuvota then tofamba hedu tichiziva kuti takamirira 2023. Kana usati ndinokuperekedza toenda tese panosimbisa ufriend hwedu ipapo toenda takadaro. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys. Good night.
Good night. Bye. DJ Prof, our music. Oh.